Have you found that your narcissist or your ex-narcissist has lots of exes around? These exes just keep coming up. They often will talk about exes. They'll talk a lot about different stories about them. They can put them down, and then before you know it, they're saying some really positive things about the ex. But then you might also just start hearing about how they caught up with an ex or they bumped into an ex. Some of them like to keep them as friends. Now, many empaths sadly find themselves trapped in this situation. I'm going to tell you why it's a trap. For the narcissist, having exes around as friends, they like it. If you are involved with a narcissist and there is an ex around, you are going to sometimes become very suspicious if there's actually something more going on here. And because there aren't firm boundaries. But let's first of all look at why the narcissist wants to have lots of friends around and why it's not a good idea for the empath. All right, welcome everyone. My name's Marina. I'm a psychotherapist, educator, and author. And I help people to recover from narcissist love abuse, but also to go on to find their inner strength again, their power, and to really start to step into the full potential of who they are. Now remember, potential, that means that there's always more to us. And hopefully we continue that for as long as we can, because there isn't anything worse than not having motivation. All right, now let's look at the narcissist and why they like to have exes as friends. Well, there's a few reasons, but let's go through, I suppose, the obvious ones. Well, it makes them feel good. They can keep them on a shelf. And if they ever break up with whomever they're with, not that you will ever know, even if you are an ex and you're still their friend, you won't ever really know what's going on. But they like to know that they can go back to that person. Another reason is it's for their image control. They can say to people, just say if they've got a history of women or men that they've broken up with and the people don't like them, they can say, look, I'm okay because he still wants to be my friend, she still wants to be my friend. It's also another way that they can keep control over you without investing into the relationship. So narcissists usually don't like the full investment of a relationship. That's why they like the love bombing stage, they like the conquest, and then once that's over, that's when all these games start, and we all know about what goes on. So they don't like that full responsibility because it takes a lot to be in a relationship. It's high maintenance being in a relationship. We have to attend to them every single day. It's a big responsibility, it's a commitment, it's accountability, and it's having to think of another person, right? How can I love this person more? How can I make them feel more secure? And so obviously when there's a balance and it's reciprocal, then there's give and take. Narcissists don't like this. They actually find it quite boring, and they don't like it when their partners get sick. Narcissists like to keep exes as friends because it inflates their ego, Also, they like to still keep that control. So if they're texting you and you're texting back, and if it's every now and then, well, they just know that you're there. Now, of course, you don't know what they're up to, but usually they're up to a lot of, they're getting up to a lot of stuff that you possibly don't know about. Narcissists, of course, like that adoration. They like to have that supply around, and also they will always see you as their property, right? So the reason why this becomes dangerous for the empath is because many empaths believe, well, she may change, he may change, so I'll stay their friend. The narcissist may also tell the empath that they've broken up with, look, I don't want to get back together with you, or I don't want a relationship with you, but I'd like to have you as a friend with benefits. So I'm sure narcissists invented friends with benefits. Now, of course, if that's your thing and you want to be with a narcissist and just have, friends with benefits, and if it's not hurting you in any way, then okay, your choice. But if you're going along with the friends with benefits because you believe that that is the only way that you can keep the narcissist in your life, and you believe that she or he is going to change their mind, right, then you need to reconsider your position. Usually when people tell you up front, I don't want a relationship with you, you believe that. If a person says, I can, you can be in my life, we can go on dates, we can go here, we can go there, but no relationship, believe that. And then you need to start to consider, well, what is that doing for me? Empaths can sometimes find it very difficult to cut things. Often it's because, there could be some previous betrayal trauma, and so you just keep thinking the narcissist is going to change, they are going to change. You don't want to actually have to really feel the brunt of the pain that you're in, so then you will keep the codependency up, keep trying new things, keep doing new things on the outside so you don't have to go inside. Research tells us that when you've broken up with someone, that person will not hold you in that same regard. You will not ever be that priority again. And many empaths keep waiting for the narcissist to make them that priority again. And sadly, it does not happen. Staying friends with exes, that's obviously a personal thing, but I don't really encourage it, because I believe that we need to have very firm boundaries, and in particular if you are wanting to meet someone new. So many people will say, I had to keep hearing about this ex, that ex, I had to hear this, I didn't know what was going on, and if I ever became jealous or if I ever showed any insecurities, it was always my fault. I really do believe that when you go into a relationship with someone, it's just good to have those boundaries. No one wants to have to keep hearing about exes. No one has to keep wanting to know that they're around. It's not to say that we still can't be friends with exes, ex-wives, ex-husbands. We know blended families. All of that stuff, of course, is good. I'm not talking about things in that regard. I'm talking about the narcissist who has to have exes around to also show how great they are, that they're a great Romeo, look at me, everyone wants me, I'm this high sought after woman, I'm so gorgeous, I'm so good looking, and it really creates insecurity for you. So be careful when you go into any relationship and there's a crowd. Remember triangulation, what it's designed for, and how narcissists use it. In families, narcissists use it with children, right? It can be done amongst siblings as well. In the workplace, it can be set up for you. You don't want that, because you want to feel that you are in your power, that you're highly valued, but you must value yourself first. Many women will say men don't respect women, and this is true, but many women don't respect themselves. And I suppose the same can apply for men as well. Really start to see where you aren't having those clear boundaries, where you aren't really affirming, no, this is what I want, no, you will not treat me like that. Many people believe that setting boundaries means we make these great announcements to the world. Don't do this and don't do that. This is what I expect. That's not how we set boundaries. Boundaries are invisible things that we set for ourselves. We have spiritual boundaries, emotional boundaries. Financial boundaries are usually a lot easier to detect if someone is, encompassing on your financial boundaries, on time, because it's more of a tangible thing. You can see it. But usually with empaths, it is definitely the spiritual and emotional boundaries that have tears in them, that are leaky. And so when we set a boundary, we're not doing it so that we can go around telling people. We're doing it so that we know when that boundary is being crossed, and then we know how to act accordingly. Everything we want on the outside first starts on the inside, right? We have to be very clear as to who we are. And if you are allowing exes, in particular narcissists, to stay in your energetic field, if you still, get together for a booty call every now and then you wonder why you're feeling so bad, and then you keep waiting to see, are they going to text me again? He hasn't phoned me in 2 weeks, she hasn't phoned me in 3 weeks. Oh, but now they've appeared, and you get all happy, and then when they leave, think again if you don't want to keep experiencing that. So whatever's showed up for you in your life so far, start to see what has been in my control, and where have I allowed people, places, things to come into that boundary that have not been for my highest good, and that have left my nervous system shaking, right? We don't want nervous system shaking. We want to be happy, right? And we need to be consistent. That's how we, that's that law of manifestation. We're wanting that consistency so that then we can live at that level. If we're always high, well, guess where we go? All the way down. But we just want to be balanced. And so we need balanced activities, balanced things that don't go around shaking us up and all around. Right? Now, you can't control what the narcissist does, but you can control what you do. And, if the narcissist wants to have lots of exes around as their friends, we'll just say, well, does this suit me? And why do you want to stay friends with an ex, with a person who hurt you anyway? Why do you want to stay friends with someone who isn't consistent with you? And you have to hear, and you're on the sideline, remember. Now, the same thing here applies with affairs. If you are caught up with someone who's, married, or you're the third party, and that person's in a relationship with someone else, and it's making you feel miserable, just think again. We know the research, especially in workplaces when affairs start. I'll tell you who usually is the one who ends up leaving that workplace. It's usually the woman. I know in some cases it can be the man, but it's oftentimes the affair partner that ends up having to leave. But these things can, of course, be avoided. Or, if you meet someone and there's a separation under the same roof, and I'm not saying these things can't happen, but just play things forward. How is this going to make me feel? In particular, if you're an empath, empaths, we've got so much love to give. We like spending time with our partners. We like doing lots of things together. How is this going to make you feel? Of course, if the person has a game plan and you can see that it's legitimate, then you can reconsider. Now, why am I talking to you about these things? Because there is so much that happens to us that if we had really been honest with ourselves, and if we had listened to our intrinsic compass, if we had really followed our values, and if we lived by those values, we would say this person is not for us. It's different if of course, you have friends. We all have male friends, female friends. But I'm talking to you when there's blurred lines. When there's blurred lines, I'm not sure how well that goes down. All right, now, of course, let me know your thoughts. And I hope you have a really lovely evening. And just a little exercise. I always like to give people, some little strategies to just get in touch with that subconscious mind, conscious mind. Sit down and just say, right, everything that has occurred so far in this relationship, previous relationships, what were the things that were not good? Was I made to feel number one? No. Were there exes around? Was I then made to feel, did I then give in? Write down all the things that have occurred, and then I want you to put a tick next to the ones that were in your control, next to the ones that you could have said no to. Now, as I've spoken about before, with the covert narcissists, we often don't know what's going on. I'm talking about when we do know what's going on. When we actually know what's going on. And when we actually have even stayed quiet because we didn't want to confront the other person. So just write down the things that are in your control, right? And then you can start to say, right, well, next time, or this is what I'm going to do so that I can now start to create different experiences. So that's how powerful we are. Some things obviously are outside of our control, but there's so much that is within our control, and we don't realize that we are allowing to happen again and again, in particular when it comes to relationships, because it is such an automatic response, right? And Sigmund Freud taught us that, right? And that was that it is subconscious. So we will just keep recreating relationships, and it's based on an internal working model that is we are not aware of, but it is very powerful. And it comes from, of course, monkey see, monkey do, and it starts when we're very young. Now, we're not aware that this is occurring. But now as adults, if we can bring that subconscious into our awareness, we can create small shifts. We don't need huge changes sometimes. We just need to be able to see things a little bit differently. I always use the analogy, of the blinkers on a horse, right? So blinkers on a horse, it's obviously designed to keep all the distractions out, yeah? So it just goes straight ahead. But now if we got those same blinkers often, we are only seeing things in a certain way. But imagine those blinkers. Now imagine we just shift a bit more. We can see a bit more of the room, a bit more. And that's what raising our awareness is all about. Wow, I didn't realize I was doing that. I didn't realize I believed that, and that's what was driving my behavior. Okay, all powerful stuff, all good stuff. Stay great, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.